When Robert transferred money to his sister for the third time without my permission, I completely checked out. I quit my high-paying job and spent all day at home playing games and loafing around. This only lasted 3 days before Robert panicked. He pointed a finger at me and demanded to know what I thought I was doing. He listed the $5,000 mortgage every month, the $2,000 car payment, Leo's tutoring fees, and all the household expenses, asking which one didn't require money. Oh, so he does know the household expenses are huge. Then how could he keep taking household money to financially support his sister every other day? During my lunch break, Mom called and said the heavy rain a few days ago had collapsed the pig pen at my parents' place. She asked me to transfer $20,000 so she could find someone to fix it. I said okay, hung up, and then opened my mobile banking app. Just as I was about to transfer the money, I saw there were only $500 left in the debit card. Just a few days ago, there was $50,000 in there. How could it be down to only $500 in just a few days? My first thought was Robert. This card was with him, so the money must have been spent by him. What did he do? How did he spend $50,000 in just a few days? I called Robert, suppressing my anger, and asked, Robert, where did the money in the card go? Robert stammered and wouldn't say clearly. My heart sank, and a terrible feeling washed over me. Did you transfer money to your sister again? My sister was a little short on cash for a car, so Robert's voice trailed off. I pinched the bridge of my nose, unsure what to say. Robert and I had dated for 3 years, been married for 7, and our son was 6. Because we were married for love, when we were discussing marriage terms, both families had some uncomfortable moments. Robert's mother not only didn't give a bride price concept, but also insisted I bring a $200,000 dowry/contribution. His mother snorted, she's already been sleeping with my son for 3 years. Who else can she marry besides my son? Robert sat next to his mother, head down, saying nothing. In the end, I couldn't let go of our relationship. I took $200,000 from my savings and put it into our joint account. But immediately, his parents asked for that $200,000 for Robert's sister. I had felt sorry for Robert back then, having such a biased pair of parents. But I never expected that he himself didn't have his priorities straight either. I switched to another debit card and transferred $30,000 to Mom. Then I went to the office and applied for vacation days with my boss. Our company had good benefits, 10 vacation days a year, plus 2 extra days for each year of service, accumulating up to a maximum of 20 days. With my years of service, I could have taken 20 days long ago, but I never did. Every year's vacation days were cashed out as overtime pay and deposited into my payroll account. This year, no matter what, I was going to make the most of it. When I got home, Robert was still busy in the kitchen. Leo saw me and ran over, throwing himself into my arms, sweetly calling Dad. I picked up my son and sat on the sofa to read a picture book with him. Robert didn't say anything during dinner. When we were almost done eating, I said casually, I quit my job. From now on, I'm going to stay home and enjoy myself. Robert's hand, which was reaching for food, froze. Then he looked up and glanced at me. Are you kidding? I looked at him seriously. Do I look like I'm kidding? Robert continued to pick up food and eat, not saying anything more. He probably still thought I was joking. After all, my job, while not easy, paid really well. I had even earned over $100,000 a month sometimes. Unless I was insane, why would I suddenly give up such a good job for no reason? The next day, I did something I hadn't done in ages. I slept until I woke up naturally. This was a luxury I hadn't had since getting married. Before, I had to get up early for work on weekdays, and take care of my son on weekends. I never had time to sleep in. Robert, on the other hand, was up early. He made breakfast for Leo, took Leo to preschool after breakfast, came back and bought groceries. Only when the smell of cooking drifted out from the kitchen did I groggily wake up from my sleep. When I came out of the room with bedhead, Robert was clearly startled. Why aren't you at work? I yawned and said casually, I told you yesterday, I quit. Robert looked at me with the spatula, somewhat suspicious, as if judging whether I was telling the truth. You must be joking, right? Robert said, then turned back into the kitchen to continue what he was doing. For the next few days, I slept in every day, woke up naturally, ate lunch, and then went into the home office to play games until sunset. When Robert picked Leo up from preschool, I would come out of the home office and play with Leo. This comfortable life only lasted for 3 days. On the 3rd day, after lunch, just as I was about to head into the home office as usual, Robert slammed down his chopsticks. Sarah, what exactly do you want? Robert glared at me angrily. I remained indifferent. I told you, I quit my job. From now on, I'm staying home to enjoy myself. Sarah, do you even hear yourself? Every month the mortgage is $5,000, the car payment is $2,000, Leo's preschool is $1,500 a month, tutoring fees are $4,000 every 6 months, plus other household expenses. Easily $10,000 a month just goes out. And you just quit your job? What are we going to eat and drink? Starve? He pointed at me and just started listing everything. I said oh and raised an eyebrow, a sarcastic smile on my face. Oh, so you do know the household expenses are huge? If you know the household expenses are huge, how can you so casually give household money to your sister? Let me count how many times you've secretly financially supported your sister behind my back. I pretended to count on my fingers. My apologies, I can't even count them all on 2 hands. Robert heard the sarcasm in my words. He clenched his jaw. Sarah, it's just $50,000. Is that really such a big deal? That's my sister, and your sister too. What's wrong with me helping her out a little when she's short on cash for a car? I laughed, clapping as I did. You're such a good brother. Like her second parents. My friend asked me to partner up to start a company. I asked you for money and you said you didn't have any. Your sister needed money for a down payment on a house, and you immediately transferred $300,000 to her. Mom needed a stent for her heart condition, you didn't have money. Your sister was getting married and needed a dowry, and you immediately transferred $200,000 to her. This time, our pig pen was collapsed by the heavy rain, and you again transferred that money to your sister. Robert, you're so good to your sister. Has she ever bought even one toy or snack for Leo? Robert fell silent, staring at me blankly. As he stared, his eyes welled up and he started crying. Sarah, I never expected that after 7 years of marriage, you would remember every single thing, every little detail. Are you trying to settle the score now? That's my sister, how could I not help her? Right, you help her, you help your sister so much, you're practically signing the house over to her. Robert, since you care so much about your sister, why did you even get married? Wouldn't it be great if you just worked and supported your sister and her family? Robert pointed at me, stammering and sputtering for a long time, then finally swept the dishes off tea. He table and stormed back to the bedroom to start packing. I didn't bother with him. I had wanted a divorce for a long time. The only reason I had put up with it until now was simply because I didn't want Leo to grow up in a single-parent home. Robert dragged his suitcase past me without even sparing me a glance. Good, he's gone. Now it's quiet. Bang! Robert slammed the door shut. I let out a long breath and started cleaning up the mess in the house. After cleaning up, I drove straight to the preschool, made an excuse that something came up at home, and picked up Leo. Leo was very excited to see me. Mom, why are you picking me up? Where's Dad? I picked him up and kissed him on the cheek. Dad went back to Grandma's place. How about Mom takes you to the amusement park today? Leo was startled for a second, then started cheering and jumping around. Yay! Robert didn't like Leo. His family had a preference for daughters, specifically favoring niece over son, and he focused solely on spoiling his sister. The strange thing was, he didn't like his own child, but when Leo was 2 months old, he kept nagging me about wanting a second child. I was working myself to the bone every day, and at night I still had to change Leo's diapers and feed him. I absolutely didn't want a second child. Robert tried to force the issue, secretly sabotaging contraception/poking holes in condoms. If I hadn't found out, he would have succeeded. To completely squash his idea of a second child, I went to the hospital and got birth control. When Leo was 3, his sister's child, Ethan, was born. Although Ethan was also a boy, Robert clearly favored his sister's child. Every time we went to his sister's place, he would hold his sister's son and call him baby, sweetie, in such affectionate tones. Leo asked me more than once, Mom, does Dad not like me? I felt a pang of sadness that Leo, so young, had learned to sense disapproval. I always reassured him it wasn't true. Dad loved Leo most. It wasn't until Leo was 5 and Ethan was 2 that his sister came to our house to visit. Ethan whined that he wanted to go to the amusement park and ride the carousel. Leo wanted to go too. I don't know what Robert was thinking, but he actually left Leo home alone and went to the amusement park with Ethan, his sister, and Tom. When I got home that day, Leo cried in my arms for a long, long time. He said, Mom, I know Dad doesn't like me. It was from that day on that the thought of divorce first occurred to me. I took Leo to the amusement park. We rode the carousel, the little train, rode a boat, and played bumper cars. We played all afternoon. When we got tired, we went to the restaurant at the amusement park and ordered some unhealthy but delicious fried chicken and Coke. Watching Leo eat fried chicken and drink Coke, I suddenly felt that maybe insisting on not getting a divorce for Leo's sake was wrong. We didn't get home until it was dark. Leo was so tired he had fallen asleep in the back seat. I carried him upstairs and put him in his little bed. Just as I finished doing all this, mother-in-law called. "Sarah, what kind of wife are you? You just let your husband leave without even trying to stop him? Do you know Robert was upset all afternoon after coming back? He just took $50,000 from you. Is that really such a big deal? You're the sister-in-law, isn't it right for you to spend money on his sister? What sister-in-law is as stingy as you, making such a fuss over this small amount of money? I'm giving you 1 hour to come here and apologize, otherwise, humph." I hadn't even said a word, and she hung up. Good, saved me from wasting my breath. After washing up, I went to bed. I was woken up by frantic knocking. Groggily getting up to open the door, I was met with a slap across the face that slapped me right out of my sleep. I stared wide-eyed at the person. Hey, it was mother-in-law, the one who called me last night. She glared at me furiously. "You have the nerve to sleep? Robert was up all night, his eyes red the whole time. And you? You slept like a log, couldn't even wake you up." Saying this, she pushed me aside and stormed inside, plopping down on the sofa. Robert stood behind her, head bowed, not saying a word, his eyes red. "You, kneel down and apologize to Robert," mother-in-law ordered, pointing at me. Huh? I was dumbfounded. Why on earth would I kneel down and apologize to him? He secretly took household money to financially support his sister, and now it's somehow my fault. I pointed to myself. You mean me? Kneel down? Apologize to him? Mother-in-law snorted. What? You won't? Are you still asleep? Are you dreaming? Oh, you little hussy. Who are you saying is dreaming? Mother-in-law said, getting up to hit me. I dodged aside quickly. It wasn't that I was afraid of her, I just didn't want to hit a woman, especially an older woman. Okay, Mom, just say a little less. A familiar voice came from outside the door. I turned my head and saw Jessica. Tom and Ethan were behind her. Wow, the whole family is here. The whole big family sat on the sofa, staring at me in unison, like facing the family council. Oh, come on, Sarah, you're being way too stingy. It's just $50,000. Consider it a loan, okay? Jessica said with an indifferent attitude. Fine, I said. 50,000 for the car this time, 200,000 for the wedding, 300,000 for the house. That's 550,000 already. And the last time you wanted a computer, $8,800, that was your brother's money too. And the time before that, you wanted a pair of shoes, $1,800. I remember you sent your brother the link and asked him to buy them for you, right? Ethan's tutoring fees, piano lessons, $300 per lesson, you paid for 20 lessons at once, $5,888. And oof. Mother-in-law interrupted. Sarah, you remember every little bit, every few thousand here and there, so clearly. You're so good with numbers, why don't you become an accountant? Since Robert married you, he's been a grown man staying home, acting like your personal housekeeper. Why don't you ask around? What housekeeper doesn't make $10,000 a month or more? In all these years, have you ever paid Robert a salary? I was amused. So I married a housekeeper, not a husband? And I was supposed to pay him a salary? Besides, did he forget? Robert himself decided to be a stay-at-home dad in the first place. Perhaps our arguing was too loud and woke up Leo. He came out of the room, rubbing his eyes, looking a bit bewildered at the group of people outside. Mom, he called softly, running up to me. As soon as mother-in-law saw Leo, her eyes rolled, and she spoke up. No manners. With so many people here, you only saw your mother. Your dad wasn't home last night. Did your mom say bad things about your dad? Did she tell you not to call us? Leo rushed to defend me. No. Hey, you little punk. You dare talk back. So ill-mannered. Even Robert reprimanded him. Leo, you can't talk to grandma like that. Grandma is an elder, you need to show respect, understand? Heh, respect. That depends on who you're talking about. Leo had never been to his grandma's place since he was born. During holidays and festivals, Robert went back to Robert's parents' house alone, never taking us too. He said taking Leo to his grandma's place would harm Ethan's luck. He believed whatever malicious gossip he heard completely. At first, I used to argue with him about it. After it happened so many times, I couldn't be bothered to waste my breath. So, every year Robert went back to mother-in-law's place, I took Leo back to my parents' place. Okay, Sarah, just apologize properly to my brother today, and we'll consider this over. A couple shouldn't hold GRU dages overnight. We're family, don't be so petty about money. Anyway, if the money is gone, you can earn more, but blood relation, if it's gone, it's truly gone, Jessica said. She only called Robert brother when she needed something. Other times, she just called him by his first name. The funny thing is, no one in the family saw anything wrong with that. I quit my job, so the money is gone for good, I said. What? You quit your job? Jessica was so anxious she stood up from the sofa. Brother, why didn't you mention that Sarah quit her job? Then about you promising me $200,000 to start a business. Jessica hadn't finished speaking when Tom gave her a hard pinch on the thigh. Jessica knew she had let it slip and gave Robert a sheepish glance. Oh, fantastic. Just wonderful. I wanted to start a business, he said the risk was too high, said I would definitely lose money, said I should be down to earth, said he didn't like that kind of anxious life. His sister wanted to start a business, and he secretly got money from me to support his sister's venture. I was truly enraged. Robert, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If you're sensible, pick a time and go to the county clerk's office with me to get the certificate. From now on, no one will object to you helping out your sister however you want. The moment I said that, the living room was silent for 3 seconds, then chaos erupted. The first to lose it was mother-in-law. She shot up from the sofa as if she'd heard something horrifying, pointing at my nose. You, Sarah, have you no conscience? Robert has been married to you for so many years, always managing the household, and you want to divorce him just because he took a little money from you. People like you will be struck by lightning. Next was Robert. His swollen eyes welled up with tears again. Sarah, how could you do this to me? He couldn't continue and covered his face, about to start crying, Turley pathetic. Jessica blew up too. She came over and gave me a hard shove. You want to divorce my brother just for $50,000? Tell us the truth, are you seeing another man? I lost my balance, stumbled, and almost fell. Because I was holding Leo, I didn't fight back, just watched the fuming crowd with a cold smile. Taking a deep breath, I said, my words are finished. Now, please leave. Hey! Jessica tried to rush forward to hit me again. I quickly dodged to the side, holding Leo with one hand and pulling my phone out of my pocket with the other. Are you leaving or not? If you don't, I'm calling the police and charging you with trespassing. Mother-in-law still wanted to say something, but Robert held her back. He said with trembling lips, forget it, Mom, let's go. The group left, cursing and grumbling, except for Robert. He closed the door, wiped the tears from his eyes with his sleeve, and reached out to take Leo from my arms. Leo wrapped his arms around my neck and refused to let him hold him. Leo, come here. Robert's voice was a little stern. Leo's body visibly trembled. Facing Robert's fierce gaze, he reluctantly loosened his grip around my neck. I took a step back. Leo doesn't want to go, why are you forcing him? And, when I said you all should leave, that included you. Robert completely ignored my words and shamelessly asked me, honey, are you hungry? I'll go make you breakfast. In our 7 years of marriage, he had never called me honey. Hearing him call me that made me nauseous. Robert, are you listening to me? I told you to leave. Robert's face turned grim. I'm not divorcing you, and I'm not leaving. This is my home. Since you're planning to loaf around at home doing nothing, then let's all loaf around and do nothing together. He thought this would make me compromise? What a joke. I had been thinking about this divorce for a long time. Something I've decided on will absolutely not change. You won. Leave? Fine, I'll leave. Saying this, I took Leo and left the house, heading back to my parents' place. I drove for an hour back to my rural parents' place. Mom was sorting vegetables in the yard, and Dad was repairing the pig pen in the backyard. Seeing us arrive, Mom was beaming with joy, hugging Leo, and walking inside. Oh my, look who's here. You didn't even call ahead. We haven't prepared any food. I smiled. It's okay, I'll go to the market later. Staying at my parents' place indefinitely wasn't a solution either. But filing for divorce would take too long, and I was afraid of complications arising in the meantime. I had to figure out a good plan that was both convenient and would get Robert's family to agree to the divorce. After spending 2 days at home, a friend who works at a bank contacted me and asked if Robert was my husband. I thought it was strange, so I called him directly to ask what was going on. He said a man named Robert had come to the bank today to apply for a loan. Based on the name and appearance, he thought it might be my husband, but he wasn't sure. So he called to ask me. What, our Sarah needs a loan now. Are you having financial problems? Mark's smile was inscrutable. I quickly said, no, something came up at home. So, did you approve his loan? Mark said, no, he has nothing, he can't get a loan. But I saw he was quite short on money, he kept asking if there were any other options. Sarah, what's going on? I felt a bad feeling. I had heard Jessica say Robert was going to give her $200,000 to start a business. Since he couldn't get money from me now, Robert was starting to think of crooked ways. If he took out loans behind my back, accruing millions in debt, I would truly be dragged down by him. That's a ruthless move. Originally, I had planned to tell Mom and Dad about the divorce after it was finalized. After all, the word divorce is embarrassing in the eyes of the older generation. But now Robert was already planning to tie himself to me this way, so I just had to ask Mom and Dad to help me out. So, during lunch, I hesitated for a long time before finally speaking. Dad, Mom, I'm planning to divorce Robert. The moment I spoke, Mom and Dad stopped eating. They both looked up at me in unison. Dad sighed, and Mom put down her chopsticks. I thought, oh no, here comes the lecture. They'd just say couples argue, that I should avoid stirring up trouble and just bear with it. Just as I prepared myself for the lecture, I suddenly heard Mom say, from the moment you brought Leo back, we knew something had happened between you and Robert. Speaking of Robert, actually, I never really liked him much either. Tell me, after you got married, he never came to our place again, and he wouldn't even let Leo go to his grandmother's house. He kept taking things from the house to financially support his sister every other day. Tisk. It's probably for the best if you divorce, it's just tough on Leo. We talked about it all afternoon. Mom and Dad also understood what had happened. Dad was so angry he almost smashed the coffee table, saying through clenched teeth, when you got married, his parents favored his sister, and I even felt sorry for him. Never expected he himself didn't have his priorities straight. Now he's even thinking of taking out loans to help his sister. Look at him, what kind of person did you marry? I lowered my head and didn't speak. When you're young, you always misjudge people. After staying home for another 2 days, I took Leo back home. To make the act more convincing, I specifically bought a bouquet of flowers on the way back. Robert was watching TV on the sofa and was momentarily taken aback when he saw us return. I quickly took out the roses from behind my back and handed them to Robert. I'm sorry, I was wrong. My parents lectured me when I went home this time, and I think you're right. Your sister is my sister, and as her sister-in-law, I really should help her out when she's in trouble. I apologize to you. I'll find a new job, and we'll live a good life from now on. Seeing the flowers and hearing my sincere apology, Robert's eyes instantly turned red. He hugged me tight and said it was okay, and that he forgave me. From that day on, life returned to normal. I left early and came back late every day, and it certainly looked like I was looking for a job again. Robert asked me about my job search progress every day. Every time he asked, I would put on a long face and say I couldn't find a good job. The current climate is so bad, it's impossible to find a job. I looked ashamed. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so impulsive and quit my job back then. Although Robert wanted to scold me, seeing me look so guilty, he couldn't say anything and could only comfort me and say to take my time, no rush. Mark contacted me again. He found out that Robert had indeed taken out a loan, totaling $200,000, which was exactly the money Jessica said was for funding her startup. I was curious how Robert managed to get such a large loan, especially since he had no job and no assets. Who would dare lend him money? Mark replied with a laugh, nowadays, there are many small loans, they'll approve you as long as you upload your ID card. It's just that the interest is terrifyingly high. Isn't that a high-interest loan? No, it's different from a high-interest loan. It's legal and compliant, and it doesn't have compounding interest. It's just that the interest is a bit higher than regular loans. Oh Robert. The family was already squandering savings, and you still have the nerve to take out loans to help your sister start a business. That's real love for your sister. After looking for a job for a few days, I started bringing money home. Every day when I came back, I would mysteriously pull out cash from my pocket. Sometimes it was 3 to 5,000, sometimes 8 to 9,000. Robert took the money with a look of joy on his face and asked where it came from. I grinned and said I made it from investment. I couldn't find a job, so I reached out to old friends to see if they had any angles. Then Lucy said she had an angle, a quick way to make money, and asked if I was interested. As soon as I heard quick money, I was definitely interested. So I partnered up. Robert nodded and happily took the money back to the bedroom. That night, I heard him calling his mother from the bathroom. We made up. She found a job, and the salary is even higher than before. Making tens of thousands a day. Don't worry, she doesn't know about the loan. Even if she finds out, so what? She still has to pay it back for me. This is marital debt. No, she won't divorce me. If she talks about divorcing me again, I'll just take out more loans, hee. He's really treating me like a patsy, isn't he? I brought money home for a week straight, which made Robert couldn't stop smiling. Now every day when I came home, Robert would be waiting by the door, grinning and looking at me expectantly. I smiled back, then took the money out of my bag and handed it to him. This continued until the end of the workday on the 10th day, when I deliberately didn't go home and even sent Robert a mysterious text message. Something came up today, I won't be home. After that, I turned off my phone. On the 11th day, I still didn't go back, and I told Robert to lock the doors and windows. On the 12th day, the actors I hired were already sent to my house to find me. They told Robert the first had taken out a high-interest loan, and held sticks, demanding Robert tell them where I was. Robert was so scared he almost wet his pants. After they left, Robert quickly packed his things and went back to Robert's parents' house. By then, my plan was halfway to success. On the 15th day, I made my RST call to Robert. I'm sorry, Robert, that investment scheme I was in, it failed. Lucy ran off, and I can't go home either because they're after me. I thought I could make some money, but I never expected. Don't go home recently, just hide at Robert's parents' house. Whatever you do, don't go home. If they can't find me, they'll definitely be waiting at the house. Mother-in-law snatched the phone and started to rant at me. You damned you, it's one thing for you to gamble, but how dare you drag Robert into it? Do you know how badly Robert will be ruined by you? How could you? Why didn't you just die outside? Oh. I didn't say anything, just let her curse. When she got tired of ranting, I started to apologize, repent, and say all sorts of nice things. Mom, don't worry, I can definitely pay off this debt. Just give me some more time. You, curse words, mother-in-law just spewed all sorts of vulgarities, and I quickly hung up. I guessed mother-in-law would definitely instigate Robert to divorce me. After all, I had no job or income, and I owed a mountain of debt. Robert wouldn't be able to help his sister at all if he stayed with me. I just had to wait quietly for Robert to call and say he wants a divorce. But I waited, and the call I got was from my mom. Mom was so distraught on the phone, she sounded incredibly sad. Sarah, your husband, he actually sent Leo over. Oh my, you wouldn't believe it, Leo's clothes were all stiff with grime, and his hair was matted. I just cooked him a bowl of noodles, and he was gobbling it down. I felt so sorry for him. Such a small child, I don't know what kind of abuse he suffered at his grandma's house, they didn't even give him food. He kept waking up in a start in his sleep, and then he would start crying, you wouldn't believe. As Mom was talking, her voice started to choke up again. Listening to Mom's description, my heart ached with every beat. I had brought Leo with me originally, intending to protect him during my scheme. I thought Robert would take him to his parents' house and at least ensure he was fed and cared for. But I never imagined he could neglect a child like this. Mother-in-law must have taken all her anger towards me out on Leo. I transferred $10,000 to Mom and booked a short trip for her, telling her to take Leo out to relax. For a child, going out and playing more, shifting their attention, is good. As for Robert, I couldn't be bothered to wait for his call anymore. I decided to take the initiative. I contacted a lawyer friend and asked him to call Robert. The message was simple: I owed a lot of money outside and couldn't pay it back, so I could only mortgage the house. He should come home and pack his things, the house was going to be foreclosed. This phone call was really effective. The next day, Robert called me and told me to come home and pack my things, saying he had something to tell me. I made myself look a bit messy, appearing at the doorstep with bedhead and dark circles under my eyes. Before I even entered, I heard mother-in-law's voice. That wicked woman, she even lost the house. Robert, listen to Mom, divorce her. What use is a woman like that to you? She's lost the house, lost her job, and she owes a mountain of debt. She won't recover for 10 or 20 years, for sure. You'll have a hard time if you stay with her. Robert sighed. I want to divorce her too, but Sarah owes so much money, and it's considered marital debt. If I divorce her, I'll have to take on all that debt too. I don't want that. Tisk. Mother-in-law frowned. The plan when I told you to take out a loan for your sister's business was for Sarah to help you pay it back. How did she end up owing even more money than you? Stop talking, I'll figure something out. I definitely have to get a divorce, but this debt, it absolutely cannot have anything to do with me. Robert's voice was tinged with impatience. My heart leaped with joy. My plan finally worked. Outside, I tried hard to suppress my inner joy, put on a mournful expression, and walked in, immediately met with mother-in-law's murderous glare. You've been hiding from creditors for so many days, and you still know how to come back. Now look, the house is gone too, are you happy? Sarah, I agreed to let Robert marry you because you had a stable job and earned a lot. But look at you now. Trading stocks, how is that different from gambling? Not only do you owe a mountain of debt, you lost the house too. I'm telling you, I will absolutely not agree to Robert being with someone like you. You two go get a divorce right now. Divorce immediately. Hearing this, I immediately knelt down towards mother-in-law. I won't divorce, I absolutely won't divorce. Mom, I know I was wrong. Wasn't I doing this for the family? Humph, for the family? If you were really doing it for the family, you wouldn't have impulsively quit your job back then. He just took $50,000 from you, and you're so stingy about it. Look what the result of your stinginess is. The money is gone, the home is gone, and your husband is gone too. I quickly lowered my head and admitted my mistake. Yes, it's all my fault, I know I was wrong. Please don't make Robert divorce me. I have nothing left now, only Robert. Oh, right, doesn't your sister still owe me over $500,000? If she pays that money back, the house won't need to be foreclosed. I slapped my forehead, stood up, and walked towards the bedroom, pulling Robert by the hand and telling him to make his sister pay back the money. Robert violently threw my hand off and gave me a hard slap across the face. Sarah, get a grip. That money was for my sister, it wasn't a loan to her. You want her to pay it back? Are you crazy? Mom is right, you're just too stingy. You wouldn't even spend this little bit of money. It serves you right that you owe so much now. I'm divorcing you. You're responsible for your own debt. I'm not going to take any of it on. I was stunned by his slap, and the anger and resentment inside me surged up all at once. Divorce? Huh, Robert, you didn't agree when I wanted to divorce you back then, and now you want to divorce me. Well, I don't agree either. If you have the guts, go sue for divorce. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you, if you divorce me, you're also responsible for half of my debt. Go ahead and get a divorce, go unaveraged out, that's over $800,000 each. I sat on the bed, crossing my legs, and watched Robert's face grow darker and darker with leisurely composure. An eviction notice was posted on the door. Robert packed his things and went back to Robert's parents' house. I couldn't stay there either, so I rented a small apartment near my company. Leo's spirits were noticeably much better after being on vacation for a few days. I brought Leo and Mom over. Since I was busy with work every day, Mom took care of Leo's daily needs. Every evening, I went with Mom to join a community dance group. Leo made many new friends and became more outgoing than before. Robert messaged me every day about the divorce. My answer was always the same, divorce is fine, but we split the debt. Of course, Robert didn't want that. Over $800,000 in debt. With his previous salary, how many years would it take to pay that back? But dragging it out like this wasn't a solution either, so his family discussed it together and decided to ask me out to talk properly. After all these years of marriage, they didn't want things to get too ugly. Now they care about it getting ugly. In a private room in a restaurant, Robert sat across from me. Mother-in-law sat next to him, glaring at me with fierce, hostile eyes, as if she wanted to devour me whole. Let's talk, I said. Sarah, we've been together for so many years. From dating to marriage to having Leo, it's been almost 10 years, right? In these 10 years, even if I haven't earned any merit, I've certainly put in the effort, right? And speaking of Leo, wasn't he also raised by me alone? Speaking of Leo, I needed to have a good talk with him about that. Last time you went back to Robert's parents' house, you sent Leo to my mom's place. Mom said Leo hadn't had a bath for several days, right? He was wolfing down his food. You didn't even feed him? Robert's face turned red, and he just stood there with his mouth open, not saying anything. Mother-in-law jumped in. It's better for little boys to eat less, they're more energetic when they're slim. He didn't want to bathe himself. I told him to bathe with his aunt, but he refused completely. I was furious. I slammed the table. Do you know anything about avoiding suspicion? Leo is already 6 years old. I don't even bathe with him anymore. You let Leo bathe with your sister? Robert, are you even a human being? What are you getting so worked up about? Why are you so agitated? It's just a child, isn't it? Why are you making it sound so disgusting? I took a deep breath and calmed myself down. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Divorce, split the debt, and I get custody of Leo. Anyway, I can wait it out. Sarah, mother-in-law slammed the table. Have you no conscience? Robert at least gave you a child. I sneered. Right, he provided the sperm, but other than that, he was completely useless. You. Sarah, I can't handle this much debt. Fine, I nodded. Make your sister pay back the money, and I'll take on the debt myself. Impossible. Then there's nothing I can do, I shrugged. Robert finally gritted his teeth. Fine, but my sister can only pay back half the money, $200,000. There's really no more than that. I thought for a moment. This was probably all the money Robert could scrape together. I nodded. Finn. So we signed the agreement and the divorce certificate and went straight to the county clerk's office. After the cooling off period ended, Robert and I met at the county clerk's office entrance. He transferred $200,000 to me, and then we went in and finalized the divorce. Looking at the divorce certificate in my hand, the excitement in my heart was indescribable. No wonder they say marriage is a tomb. It's easy to get in, but getting out is like shedding a layer of skin. I sold the house. With the money and this year's mid-year performance bonus, I bought a spacious apartment and brought my parents over. Only a month into this quiet life, Robert contacted me. He called me crying. He had no money and was $20,000 in debt. After being a stay-at-home dad for so many years, he couldn't adapt to the workplace anymore. He had sent out hundreds of resumes, but the only responses he got were for sales or factory jobs. He didn't have good communication skills for sales, and he didn't have the stamina to work 12 hours straight in a factory. Mother-in-law saw he couldn't find a job and made the excuse that him living there would harm Jessica's luck, so she kicked him out. Sarah, I truly know I was wrong. Please, help me. I felt helpless. Robert, we were married. If I had money, I would definitely help you. But you know what my situation is like now. I can barely take care of myself, let alone you. Robert said, let's remarry. I've thought about it. As long as we're together and work together, we can definitely get through this tough time. Laughable. Remarry? I finally crawled out of the tomb. How could I possibly go back in? Are you sure? I still have over $1 million in debt. Do you really want to face it together with me? Robert fell silent. He probably thought about what life would be like if we remarried. Poverty breeds sorrow, arguing over pennies every day. He didn't want that. After that, Robert never contacted me again. Time flew by, and a year passed in the blink of an eye. Leo started elementary school. This was a big event for our whole family. Early in the morning, Mom prepared a super lavish breakfast. After breakfast, the whole family went to see Leo off to school. After leaving school, Mom said she wanted to browse around the farmer's market, so I went with him. While picking out groceries, I heard people arguing at the butcher shop. The argument got fiercer and fiercer. Dad quickly went up to break up the fight. Only after pulling them apart did I realize the ones arguing with the butcher were actually Robert and Jessica. Robert looked 20 years older. The hair at his temples had turned a bit white. His eyes were lined with deep wrinkles. Jessica had also shed that air of arrogance. She was clutching a piece of lean meat in her hand, hiding behind Robert. I hadn't seen them for only a year, and I never expected such a drastic change in them. The butcher pointed at Robert and Jessica and said angrily, they're repeat offenders. They come to the farmer's market every few days to steal things. I figured they were having a hard time, so they just took a bit of meat, and I didn't make a big deal out of it. But not making a fuss doesn't mean I'm stupid. Taking the meat right in front of me like this is stealing. Jessica stood with the meat, sticking her neck out defiantly. It's just a piece of meat. Is that really such a big deal? That's right. Is that really such a big deal? Robert echoed. I stepped forward to mediate. I'll pay for it, I'll pay for it. I turned to the butcher. How much? The butcher snorted. Young lady, be careful your kindness doesn't backfire. Indeed, as soon as she heard I was going to pay, Jessica stepped forward, grabbed a huge piece of meat, and ran towards the entrance. As she ran, she shouted, she's paying, don't come after me, don't come after me. After paying, I Ked the butcher and found out that Robert and his family moved here 3 months ago. They supposedly failed at their startup and owe a lot of money. Everything they could sell at home was sold. Her husband took the child and ran off, and her own mother was literally infuriated to death. Now only the brother and sister are left, living in a basement apartment. After going through such huge difficulties, their minds were not quite right. They were always stealing things. I wondered why they didn't recognize me when I was standing right in front of them. Turns out they already had some memory issues. TSK, how pathetic. Honestly, after hearing about what happened to them, I didn't feel particularly triumphant, just a bit melancholy. One lived by depending on her brother, the other lived by depending on his wife. They never thought about relying on themselves. But as the saying goes, if you rely on mountains, they might fall. If you rely on people, they might run away. The most dependable person is still yourself. After mom and dad finished buying groceries, I took them home. The weather was perfect, not a cloud in the sky. Life is like driving, you only have real control when the steering wheel is in your own hands. And I would never hand the steering wheel of my life over to someone else.